أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس لعلهم يتذكرون.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "See you not how Allah sets forth a parable, a goodly wall as a goodly tree, whose root is firmly fixed, and its branches reach to the sky, very high, giving it fruit at all times by the leaf of its law. And Allah set forth parable for mankind in order that they may remember." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comparing a goodly wall as a goodly tree that has its roots firmly established in the ground, and its branches widely spread in the sky. This parable that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to us as human beings is for us to remember, is for us to reflect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need example to understand things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands things beyond example. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave an example of anything, any subject, it's for us to understand it better. It's like a teacher. When the teacher is giving an example to a particular subject in the classroom, it is not for the teacher to understand the subject. The teacher has already understood the subject. That's why he or she is teaching the subject. But the example given is for the students to understand the subject. The example is supposed to simplify the subject for the students to understand. So when Allah gave parables in the Holy Quran and gave examples, the examples are meant for us to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually talking about. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compare a goodly wall to a goodly tree, and this tree produces fruit all of the time. It is not a typical tree that produces fruit just in a particular season. It is a tree that produces fruit in all of the time, and according to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah says it's for us to remember. For the human being, Allah didn't say it's for Muslim to remember. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it's for human being to remember, to reflect. You see, the benefit of the good war does not only reach out to Muslim, but it reach out to every human being. It's like a tree. A good tree, the fruit of a good tree is not only for Muslim, it is for every other human being. So what is the point that I want to make using this ayah of the Holy Quran? You see, normally when I'm using the ayahs of the Holy Quran, I don't give interpretation or explanation, but I reflect upon the meanings of the Holy Quran, the meaning of the verses of the Holy Quran, and I give my own understanding, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said there are two types of verses in the Quran: the verses that need explanation and the verses that need interpretation. But to give explanation and interpretation to a particular verse of the Holy Quran, you have to go to school and get the better understanding of that particular verse. That means you have to be an imam or a sheikh or a scholar. But to reflect upon the ayah of the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say all the ayat that are in the Holy Quran are for us to reflect upon. The Quran is not encrypted. The Quran does not need somebody to open up before you can read. It is bounding upon every Muslim to read the Quran and understand from the Quran. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to always read the Quran and take lessons from. So what is the point that I want to make using this particular ayah of the Holy Quran? You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you the benefit of a good war. When the Prophet ﷺ started receiving messages, and even though it is immature to compare the Prophet's time to ours, because there's a huge difference. The message is the same, the teaching is the same, but the population changed and the civilization also changed. But there are some similarities that we can learn from using the lifestyle of the Prophet ﷺ. when he started receiving messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who were the first people that started opposing him, that started fighting him, that were against him? These were people that were in control of power, they were in control of money, and these were people that were in control of the mass media at that time. People who, when they talk, everybody listened to. These were the people that started fighting the Prophet ﷺ. So using this incident and picture our society today, the 21st century, our generation, wallahi, the first people that have a clear agenda to fight Islam are the elites, people who control power and people who also control money, people who are the politicians. These are people that are fighting against the development of Islam. So this particular ayah of the Holy Quran, we have to use this ayah of the Holy Quran to do dawah. This is a form of dawah that we have to use good words in. And then who do we target when it comes to using these good words? I want us to divide the population into 4 groups. The first group are people who are in power, they control money, and they are politicians. They have businesses all around, and these people, they have a clear agenda to fight against Islam. I mean, their hatred for Islam is not personal, but it is good for their business, it is good for their politics, and it is good for their power. So these people will do anything to instill fear in the heart of the mass population. These people actually sell fear, and the selling of this fear benefit their businesses and their politics and their campaign. And there's another group of people who are using Islam. They are quoting the Quran and they are quoting the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, but they are carrying on these horrible things around the world. They are terrorizing people. These people, wallahi, these people, they are not Muslims. These people, they have the same agenda like that of the politician and the businessmen. And they're also the third group of people who are the large population of non-Muslims who are confused. They don't know who is wrong and they don't know who is right. So these people are also they are actually the victims. These are the victims. And the last group of people are also Muslim, the large population of Muslims who are also confused. They don't know. I mean, they are always confused. They ask this question: why we the Muslims are doing this? Why we need that? These people are also a set of people that are confused. But wallahi, upon using good words, the same dawah method of the Prophet ﷺ, we need to target the last 2 groups of people: the large population of the non-Muslim and also the large population of the Muslims. Wallahi, if we use good words will have effect on these people than the politician and these terrorists around here. So brothers and sisters, this is a form of dawah that the Prophet ﷺ introduced to us, because when he started receiving messages and when the powerful people started fighting him, he never go talking to them, he never went about complaining them. He targeted the poor people, the slaves, people who they were regarded as nobody in the community. These were his target. So our target in the 21st century, using the dawah method of the Prophet ﷺ, is to target the laymen, the poor people who don't have any good status in the society. When we target these people, if these people understand Islam better, wallahi, these politicians, their businesses will go down and they will lose all their powers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the better understanding of Islam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us through this struggle. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide on the straight path, the path that will lead us to Jannatul Firdaus. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.